The alpha goes first. The alpha is ready first. They're ready to take on life first. And the omega is waiting for their turn, waiting to finish it, to complete the birthing progress, or the birthing thing, whatever. I've had 2 kids. I know what it's called. The labor? I don't know. What is it? What word am I thinking of? Hi guys, it's Alyssa and welcome back to another daily video on my channel, The Divine Venus. And today we are going to tackle the twin thing. How can 2 people be born from the same exact uterus on the same exact day be so incredibly different from each other? Well, there's actually a relatively easy explanation, and it's something that will change your life forever when looking at yourself and when looking at twins. So I call this the alpha and omega rule. I don't know if other people call it that. I've never heard it called that, so that is my thing, but you can be free to use it because it makes sense. We're gonna call it the twin alpha and omega rule by Alyssa, The Divine Venus. There is always an alpha kid and there's always an omega kid. And we're not going alpha and beta. One does not submit underneath the other one. This is more alpha, the beginning, and omega, the ending. This correlates a lot with your own chart. You see, there are people who are born more omega just naturally, and others who are born more alpha naturally. Alpha would be the sun. You are a starter. It doesn't matter if you were born at night or born in the day, you feel more alive in the daytime. You wake up, you're fueled, you start things out. You got a lot of energy, and towards the end of the day, it wanes and you're done. You can't do much anymore. You can't maybe finish what you started. You have to wait for the next day to restart and rebring your creative expression into your projects or into your passions for that day. Now, omega type people or moon type people are the ones who finish the day. They start at night. It takes them a long time to get started. Their energy is slow. It's a release into what they're going to be doing next. They can tend to not be able to sleep, have a lot of insomnia, stay up all night because they're trying to finish something. They are finishers. And so they work and work until they realize, oh shit, it's 5 a.m. and I gotta go to bed and I can't because I've just been pouring myself into this at nighttime. So you have these 2 natural personalities in general. But when it's inside of yourself and you were not born a twin, you can harness both. Now, with twins, you are going to have a very obvious alpha and a very obvious omega. And this comes through this attachment to each other ever since they were in the womb. Twins do not have the same DNA. Even identical twins do not necessarily have the exact same DNA. So you can't work that angle, and you don't have to. The thing is that there's always going to be one twin who was born first, because that twin started the birthing process. And then you have the one who finishes it. Now, when it comes to twins, we're not going to be looking at which one wants to wake up in the day and which one has to finish everything at night. It's not going to be so cut and dry. And the reason why is because they have the same chart, okay? Usually, if they are day people, they'll be day people. If they're night people, they'll be night people, depending on what's going on with them there. The one thing that will change and what is different from being a single birth is that because one of them comes out as alpha first, that one will always be the first to choose the way they express themselves. And that means that they will go straight for the sun, the bright light. They will stay in that alpha sun energy, leaving the moon energy for the younger child, the omega. And the omega twin will act out this moon energy, not because they're like mad and defeated that they're second best or something, but because they actually fit better into it. It makes more sense for them. They've always been the finisher. They don't have to be the starter. And that's okay because they have their twin there with them to start for them, and they can complete it. This goes on throughout their childhood to the point that many twins actually stay together for a long time, or at least stay in close connection throughout their entire lives. Unlike a lot of other siblings who just part and never talk to each other, it's harder for twins, and that's because it's their other half. One of them has their alpha energy and the other has the omega. Now, if they are separated from each other, this alpha and omega energy doesn't play out the same way. They are going to have to become whole and take control of the other energy that the other twin would have taken. So if they're separated from birth, you're not going to get this the same way. And if they maybe were together for 20 years and then eventually never saw each other again, they would evolve into fully embracing their chart, which would then mean make up some difference between how they were with their twin as a child and how they are now. And they might actually grow to be more alike if they separate from each other because of this duality and the polarity of the energies together. Why be exactly like the person you're closest to? There's no need. Double trouble. Two can do more. It's just energy. We are going to be using a couple twins, actually just two, to compare and contrast. We're going to be talking about Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen and Gabby and Nikki DiMartino. Now, Gabby and Nikki are YouTubers, and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen are fashion designers, former child stars, in case you didn't know. The reason I want to do Gabby and Nikki is particularly because they both have Libra risings, and Libra risings are very into aesthetic, style, and visually representing themselves, who they feel like they are on the inside. They want to put that on the outside. And so using some people who do that is just really good to kind of show you visually, because this is a visual medium. And I want to use Mary-Kate and Ashley because they were born so close together. I think it's like 2 minutes. I think Ashley Olsen is 2 minutes older than Mary-Kate, that literally nothing in their chart changes. And they do have a lot more similarities than the average twins, so I want to show you why that is. So we're going to look at Gabby and Nikki DiMartino. Nikki and Gabby are YouTubers. Here's their YouTuber. They started together on their twin channel, but they both have their own channels now. And ever since this problem that Gabby did, they haven't been together anymore, which makes sense to separate because they are not the same person. Therefore, they should not be having to deal with what is going on with the other twin. Here we can kind of see that they are very aware of their aesthetic right away here. Making over my alternative sister to the girly side and making over my girly sister to the dark side. So Gabby is very feminine, very girly. She goes into this aesthetic called cottagecore. And I think she has her own perfume sense. She's very ultra feminine. Also, she came out second. She is the younger one, making her very obviously the omega in this because of the moon energy. Now, Nikki is more alternative. She's more emo, edgy, punk pop punk. You know, she uses very dark colors, red, blue, bright, vibrant, much more masculine aesthetic here going on. She's also a musical artist right here, and that seems to be like what she wants to go for. This is very alpha to me, just in general, just like looking at her and the way that she is, because even in this aesthetic that she has, it can be a little bit scarier. You know, it's not so, I want to prey upon this. It kind of makes her look like if I said something to you, she would be like, you know, and you'd be like, oh, okay. Where you look at Gabby, and Gabby has a lot more soft energy. Even her YouTube channel is fancy vlogs by Gab. And a lot of her stuff is very, I mean, even her thumbnails are like ultra feminine. And she's got some music. It's funny. Everything on here is about her problematic past because she made news for this. Okay, here is her Instagram. Very, very less like I'm gonna get hurt by her. And here's that cottagecore energy. We got that, like you kind of get the idea of their aesthetic. They are twins, they are born 6 minutes apart and aesthetically very different. They look like they are absolutely expressing their different personalities, etc. So let's look at their charts. Gabby DiMartino has a 22-degree rising in Libra, and Nikki's is 20 degrees. This is something that I found very interesting. I'm not going to go into it a lot because this isn't a full chart reading on them, But they both have this 22-degree Cancer moon because they were not born far enough for that to change. So they have the same moon, it makes sense. But the rising, Gabby's being 22 with the 22 moon and her being very obviously the Omega twin makes me understand why she's done some more problematic things. 22 is kill or be killed, which means that if you're not going after something, if you're not attacking something, you will die. This or be destroyed, okay? And so it's very hard to keep her down. So no matter what she does and however she expresses herself, she's always going to come back up, which has been something that she's done. Nikki here has the 22-degree moon, but she's definitely more alpha. So her energy is going to play out here in the sun while Gabby's is the moon. It's very wild. This is wild, but this also makes sense. I heard about Gabby a long time ago because of Ariana Grande. I'm not like, I've never been a fan of them or anything. It's interesting looking at them now and seeing how this all plays out, but I didn't know that she was a twin because Gabby's the one who's always in media, where Nikki seems to go fly under the radar a little bit more unless you do know them. But obviously when you Google Gabby, it's a bunch of news on her, where you Google Nikki and it's just the usual influencer, like famous birthdays and YouTube and, you know, Wikipedia, all that kind of stuff. But Gabby's is like, she did something awful and horrible and we have to talk about this. Okay, so this is how simple this is gonna be. The moon here is in Cancer. Cancer rules the home. Cancer rules cottages. It rules femininity. It's the woman. It's the boobs. It is this very nurturing, creative source of feeling. And the moon falls right in there. So not only is it the feminine side of these twins, the Omega side, but she's also highly feminine and in a highly feminine sign. Then we look at the sun. The sun is in Taurus. A lot of Taurus energy is into very dark colors. It's actually a very dark sign. When Venus splits between Libra and Taurus, Taurus usually takes on the darker, more moody, gothic energy of Venus, where Libra takes on the lighter, fluffier, like pink side. They both have the Libra rising, so you see how they both play with color and, you know, hair and everything. But obviously Gabby's is going to go towards this very feminine, where Nikki's is more masculine. And then you can see this here. The Venus is in Aries. Venus rules Taurus. It also rules the rising. So you can see already that they, even though they are Libra risings, their chart ruler Venus being in Aries means that they do both want a heightened sense of independence. Like they want independence and they will push that to a further aspect. You know, they're going to push their independence further than a lot of twins will even push it. I grew up with some twins and they were different. They dressed very differently. They communicated differently, but they were so in sync. And that's because their chart ruler was not in Aries. Aries is about really making yourself your own person. I feel like these twins are perfect. Again, I'm going to say this again, but they're perfect to look at because of how obvious it is in their chart. And you can also see then the moon here is ruled by the moon. The moon's in Cancer, ruled by the moon. So all of this is very emotional, sensitive energy. I just love that Cancer is the home. So cottage core is so aesthetically Cancer. And then you got Taurus ruled by the Venus and Aries. And Aries is more masculine and red. So the fact that she has red hair now, I feel like really plays out into that aesthetic, like completely. Obviously, I think she's changed her hair before, but this just looks fiery. Look, it fits her because I think it fits that Taurus ruled by the Venus and Aries. Like looking at this, to be honest, you can kind of see, and this is the strange thing, that they smell differently. You know what I'm saying? Gabby looks like she smells like a cupcake, and Nikki looks like she smells like cigarettes. I did my Halloween through the signs, and for Taurus, I dressed up like a 90s grunge girl because to me, that is Taurus vibe energy 100%. I'm editing right now, and I remembered that I took some selfies for each Halloween look that I did, and I tried to channel the energy of that sign because I'm a Pisces rising, that's what I do, and I found the pictures and I like compared them to the twins, and it's crazy how much aesthetically, I'm not saying that I'm the best channeler, but I am. Like I can pretend to be any sign, and how they just embody either the Cancer or the Taurus energy so hardcore. Here's the Taurus, and then this is my Cancer. So Taurus was the grunge and the Cancer. She was the mother of dragons. My wig is really stupid, but you get the gist. Just to kind of compare and contrast, not everybody is so easy to see like this. And we're gonna look at Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. So Ashley Olsen is 2 minutes earlier. Also the 22-degree sun, like just like the DiMartinos have the 22-degree moon. I love that because two to the pair, double trouble, it just works so well. I would say even this makes Ashley and Mary-Kate some of the most famous twins of all time, because they are literally Geminis at 22 degrees. Like there's a reason why their energy, just like from that alone, was like they were always going to be a pair. Gemini is the twins, all that energy works. Okay. And between Ashley and Mary-Kate, there's only 2 differences. So that Leo rising doesn't even move. They have the same Leo rising. There's no differences here. One of these is the sun, which is actually also the chart ruler, and the other one is the moon. Their moon is in Virgo, their sun is in Gemini. And so Mary-Kate, being a moon in Virgo, definitely has, let's just like look at her for a second. I don't know if you guys know, like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen have very different faces. You can't like get confused about the way that they look. Ashley has very big round eyes, and Mary-Kate has very slender eyes. Mary-Kate is also an inch taller, or it's Ashley's an inch taller. Ashley looks taller here. Like this, I think, was like a very interesting picture because people were like, holy shit, why do they look so incredibly different from each other? I think they are fraternal. I find it very unique because Ashley looks like a Gemini to me. She looks like she's got the big eyes, she's got the big cheeks, and Mary-Kate looks like a Virgo. She has, and her hair is more soft and more earthy toned. She also looks like she doesn't really speak through her words as much as maybe she writes them down. Ashley looks like she's the one that's gonna speak. Mary-Kate has sunken cheeks, much more Virgo, and just like everything about them in this picture, that's what it looks like to me. And so that would make it sense that then Mary-Kate is playing out with the moon in Virgo, and Ashley is very much in that Gemini energy. But obviously too, you look at them and they're not necessarily dressed differently. I mean, they never are. They dress the same. Man, it's so funny. Like I cannot tell which one's taller. Okay, wait. It's obviously Mary-Kate's the taller one. But yes, so they're always dressing alike in some way. And that is because they, no matter what, Virgo and Gemini, even if they are different signs, Mercury rules both of them. And they have their Mercury in Cancer in the 12th house. And so that Mercury in Cancer puts it into a very feminine, very feeling, I would say makes them very artistic. Also, the duality, Mercury already is very much like, well, because we're ruled by Mercury, it's not like one's a Gemini and one's a Libra. It's like, no, they both go back into the Mercury, which is about duality, which is about going in pairs and all of that. And oh my God, it's even opposite. This Mars at 22. I'm sorry, I've seen this 22 degree everywhere, but it is a little bit crazy. I'm just kind of wondering too, if you can see that this Ashley radiates alpha energy here, and Mary-Kate very much omega, just in their aura energy. Very much alpha. This is a little bit scarier. This is a little bit softer. Even when they were younger, Mary-Kate seems to be sunken into herself, and Ashley is more open and towards everybody. And this, what is this? Ashley here. Ashley's holding Mary-Kate while Mary-Kate is resting on her. That's so very much alpha omega energy. Who's taller, Ashley or Mary-Kate? Mary Kate is 1 inch taller. Okay, fine, we got that. Then Ashley really likes to wear heels. Also, hey, the fact that I can't figure out who's taller just by looking at them because Ashley wears probably much bigger heels is very alpha. Very much like, look at him, look how much taller I am. I'm getting taller than you. You're always taller than me, but I'm taller than you. So that's a little bit of energy of twin. So if you are a twin, look into your charts. Are you second born? Are you firstborn? Do you pick up on the alpha or the omega? Are you more in the moon energy or are you more in the sun? And thank you guys for letting me give you another video. I hope you really enjoyed it. This is a very fun topic for me, so I like to do fun topics that I enjoy researching and give them to you. And yeah, I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.